Welcome to the Two Chicks with Hiking Sticks podcast. We cover all things natural, cultural, and historical in the world around us. Sit back and enjoy our sometimes snarky, often funny, and never dull podcast. Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Howdy,
We
howdy.
get the three howdies. The three howdies today, and I am Susan with Two Chicks with Hiking Sticks.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. I'm Monica with Two Chicks with Hiking Sticks.
You know what I appreciate because we've been doing this now for over a year.
What do you appreciate?
I appreciate that I've gotten you to say howdy more than you've ever wanted to in your entire life.
That's the first time I've said it in I don't know how long, so don't even go there.
Did you say it more than you've ever? Which I love. I love it. Okay.
Whatever.
So today is a National Park Day. So we're actually going to cover one of the big 63 national parks.
Applause.
Applause, applause, applause. Isn't that Lady Gaga? And so I was going to say it's the first park in alphabetical order, but it's not. I think it's the second, or maybe, I don't know. Because
Really?
it's Arches National Park.
Well, I wonder what the first one would be.
Acadia.
Oh, you're right. Oh my gosh. I would have thought so too. Arches, yeah. Well,
But then I started thinking outside of the 63, Abraham Lincoln is actually before that. But
Oh.
I was just then going back to just the 63. But
Yeah.
anyhow. So we're going to cover Arches National Park today, which is a beautiful park. And it is located in Utah. So many people go see Arches when they do the Mighty Five, because there are 5 national parks in Utah. So you've got Arches, you've got Canyonlands, you've got Bryce Canyon, you've got Capitol Reef, and you've got Zion. So those are the Mighty Five in Utah.
and we have done an episode on Canyonlands.
We've done Canyonlands, yeah. Oh, well, we haven't done the other 3.
No, we have not.
I guess we might have to put that on the list.
I guess we probably should.
Well, so today we're going to cover at least another one of the 5, which is the Arches as we call it in my family, Arches.
Arches.
And it is located on the far eastern side of Utah. And it is right outside of the town called Moab. So it's like 5 miles away from Moab. Most people stay in Moab.
I've
when
heard of
you go
Moab.
to Arches. You've been to Moab?
No, I've heard of it.
Oh, yeah. So Moab is convenient both to Arches National Park and to Canyonlands. And one of the important things about Arches that they changed this year, because it used to be you had to have reservations to get in so they can control the number of people going in. But you no longer need reservations to go to Arches
Whoa.
National Park.
That's great.
Not really.
Does that mean attendance is dropping or what?
No, it means because Arches basically has one way in.
Oh,
Yeah. And it would get bogged down even when they had reservations. And so now you have no reservations. So anybody can come and go anytime they want to.
Mm.
And so the thing that, and I know reservations could be a pain in the arse sometimes, right? But it really is to help control the flow of people in a park.
yeah.
And particularly when you have basically one way into a park, one main way into a park, you really need to control that, because when you go into Arches National Park, you go through, the little kiosk thing, go in and you drive, and there's like an 18-mile road that goes up that everybody travels on. So again, you're kind of condensing people into these singular roads that have
Right.
a couple of offshoot roads, right? And there's a road that's like a off-trail kind of road you can also go on, but most people are going to stay on a paved road. And on this paved road, there are lots of places that you can stop and do lookouts and look at, different, because Arches is about arches, right?
Sure.
Arches in the landscape. So people stop and want to look at those.
Thank you
But
for
if
that
you-
clarification.
In case people didn't know
Appreciate
what
that.
those arches were. But people stop all along the way wanting to look at these arches, and it can get crowded. So
Yeah. I didn't know. I don't know anything about Arches, so I didn't realize there was just one entrance.
yeah.
Because, Rocky Mountain National Park has several entrances, and they have the reservation system.
Yes. But it was interesting because this year there are a lot of parks that got rid of the reservation system, and I'm not exactly sure why.
Well, they probably
got
don't
rid
have
of
the
it.
staff to sit there and man all that stuff, because a lot of them were fired.
Well, maybe so. But
Yeah.
here, another one, like Glacier National Park up in Montana,
Hmm.
they got rid of their reservation system. And I don't even know how they're doing it because they have one road that kind of bisects the park, which is called the Going to the Sun Road.
Hmm.
And I don't know. I mean, it gets crowded. It gets even when we had reservations, it was crowded. So I can't even imagine what it's like now because
Yeah.
a lot of looky-loos want to stop and see the bears or whatever. And it's like you need to keep moving. You're on an actual road that
Yeah.
people need to
Yeah.
get through. But
Yeah.
I digress. So let's go back to Arches National Park. So it was designated as a national monument in 1929, and it took about a
Wow.
gazillion more years until it actually became a national park in 1971.
50
Like it
years.
takes that long, but it's kind of small. So
Is
it's
it?
like 80,000 acres, just less than 80,000 acres.
Okay.
So it's kind of small, and um, but it packs a punch. Like I said, that road that goes in, it's like an 18-mile road, so it's not like miles and miles and miles, just 18 miles, right? But it affords you the opportunity to go off and park at different places and go see the different arches and stuff. So they have, because it is Arches National Park, they have about like I think it's about 2,000, or I'm sorry, yeah, 2,000 documented arches.
Wow.
Yeah. And you know what? They're changing all the time.
Well, of course they are. Erosion.
It's just erosion. But it reminds me of Yellowstone, which we have not done an episode on Yellowstone yet. But I remember talking to a ranger at Yellowstone, and they talked about how like they're discovering new little hot spots, like little hot spring kind of things,
Hmm.
all the time. Like, and it's like it's amazing. They just kind of pop up because obviously there are things happening under the earth that make
Right.
that happen.
Right.
Similar thing in arches, right? Because it's all weather dependent.
Right.
And they talk about the different arches. Like, so the longest arch they have is landscape arch, which is like 300, 305, 306 feet long. Like,
Wow.
think of how long that arch is.
Yeah.
And honestly, to me, it was the most prettiest of all of the arches. It was my favorite arch, but it's the longest.
I wonder if um, they have to, or they keep track of how much an arch has eroded, because I imagine there comes a point where it's going to fall in,
Oh,
where
yeah.
arch will collapse.
Yeah, in fact, they had one collapse. Oh, I'm going to say maybe the early 2000s. Yeah, they collapsed. They collapsed. Well, like even landscape arch, which again is one of my favorites, parts of it have collapsed. I mean, while the initial structure is still there,
Right.
parts of it eventually collapse. I mean, so what we're looking at, the primary rock that's here is basically sandstone.
Right.
So it doesn't take much to weather that away. And you start, the winds and stuff that roll around in the area, and then the heat and thaw cycles that happen, or the heat and freeze, the
Well, and
ice
and
not.
in the wind are the particles of sand that are coming up from that are being released from the walls, which I'm sure just enhances all the erosion that the wind would have done normally.
Yes,
Yeah.
which, you know, just a little diversion, like white sands. White sands is white sands. White Sands National Park. White sands is white sands because of basically stuff that comes off of the mountains and gets basically broken down into basically sand.
Yes. Yeah.
So same kind of thing is that the wind does a tremendous job out there. And because it's got such extremes of really hot summers and really cold winters, it goes through this, freeze and thaw cycle
Expand,
that
contract. Yeah.
exactly that
Yeah.
it causes things to mold in different ways or things to collapse in different ways. And
Sure.
so it's really kind of cool. So it's interesting too that a lot of people like to refer to this particular dude who wrote a book about his time basically as a seasonal ranger in arches back in the 50s. His name was Edward Abbey, and he wrote a book called Desert Solitaire, where he really documented life in the desert. And it really
Huh.
became one of those books of like why we need to take care of beautiful things, because he was enamored by it. And it's like we really need to to remember this and want to conserve it. But even before that, so back in like 1922, there was a dude who had gone, basically was out there, walking around. And he's like, this is really pretty out there. We should have more people come out here. And he's like, well, I'm going to get in contact with the Denver and Rio Grande Railroad to see about how can we attract visitors or tourists to this area and see the beauty of these arches. And the other thing that you get in Utah is this beautiful color, the sandstone color. It's got the layers of sediment and stuff. It's strikingly beautiful.
Yeah.
And so in 1922, this dude's like, hey, maybe we can get the railroad to bring some visitors out. And so the NPS was like, what? Did I hear somebody say something's beautiful? And so that's when the NPS got involved. And that's when 7 years later it got designated as a national monument. So
all because of that one dude.
Imagine just, like walking around somewhere in your city, going out to the hill country here in Texas, right? And going, I think this spot of land is beautiful. It should be a national something. But that's how it started. But you figure back in 1922, I mean, what else was going on out there? But
right.
But again, it became a national park, full national park in 1971. But so we think about it, from the time that the dude was out there in 1922, it took until 1958 to have the first paved road.
Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Wow. So really, if you wanted to see any of that, you had to just book your butt out there by foot.
Exactly. But think about it. That means that it was really, well, one, it was at least protected. And then it was really inaccessible because people really didn't have a way to get there unless they were like on horseback or something, right? It's kind of cool.
It is cool.
So, so it's got these, 2,000 plus arches that are out there. And, there were people out there in that land before, we all came there, right? And that one of the things that I don't think people think a lot about, but we really should, especially when we talk about our Western states, are the petroglyphs from the folks who lived here before. And they've got many places within Arches National Park that have these petroglyph panels.
Oh, nice.
Oh my gosh. It is, to see it up close, and just when you ever get to see it, and I'm so glad that it's protected. And it always makes you mad when people go and vandalize this stuff.
But, me too. It just pisses me off.
Yeah. But the Puebloans lived there. The Fremont cultures were there. This is probably 10,000 years ago. And we have remnants of them because they stayed in these places because the washes that came through, whenever it would rain, because they would get 8 to 10 inches of rain. But they would look for stones and stuff to make their tools and all. So they were there, and that's where the petroglyphs come from.
That's always amazing to me. We've talked about this so many times before. The fact that people could actually survive in these areas. And now I'm not saying that some of these areas weren't very different back then, because we know they were. We know that a lot of these places have evolved, but some of them were still inhospitable, dry desert lands.
Yep.
And there they were, surviving and probably to an extent thriving.
I'm sure for them they were thriving.
Right,
and the other thing too, because out there, when you look at the petroglyphs, you can see kind of the animals that there were out there, right? So you had the bighorn sheep and different other little animals and stuff that that was a part of their life that was depicted on these rocks. And I'm just so, excited that we're fortunate enough to know we can go see that and have a glimpse into what life were they living out there.
There's a song by a band called Hooray for the Riff Raff. I think the name of the song is Buffalo, but part of the lyrics are 2 weeks to catch a buffalo. It's whatever the song is, it takes time, but basically it's like she's like 2 weeks to catch a buffalo. I'm like, yeah, that's what it reminded me of when you're talking about the pictograms.
Well, there's that.
Look it up. Hooray for the Riff Raff.
Okay, so now one of the things I really want to spend some time talking about are the different hikes that you do in this park because
Nice.
there are so many opportunities for hiking, and I'm just going to say this: one of the biggest hikes you can do out there is the hike to Delicate Arch, and Delicate Arch is the arch that when people think of Utah, it's on their
Ah,
license plate. It is the iconic looking arch, right?
okay.
So that particular um, hike is, while it's not a really long one, it's a tough one. And I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to share a video of the hike to Delicate Arch so that you get a feel for it. Because most people, when they go to this park, want to do this hike, and I think it's important that you understand what this hike is made of.
Oh,
So I'm going to pause here. We're going to do a video. And now we're back.
cool.
So yeah, so you can see on that particular the videos that we put together is that yes, it's iconic and it is a famous trail. The first mile is a gradual climb on open slick rock. You then approach on a narrow ledge, and you've got some exposure with a drop off to one side. And the arch itself is a freestanding arch, so you see it right there, and the view is amazing. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, I didn't do it. I did not do this video. The other people I was with, so I think it was two, three, four people went on that one, and me and somebody else went on different hikes. And the reason that I didn't want to do it is I was scared about the area where it was a drop off to the side,
Hmm.
and I always worry that I don't have good balance, that it's just one false step and all of a sudden I'm off the edge of the cliff.
Yeah. See, I would worry more about the slippery rocks going uphill.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
would
and
be
you
that
can
would be my worry. I don't have or at least I don't think I have balance issues. Somebody might say something different, but that to me that the whole drop off thing it's a little scary, but I think it's kind of like part of the adventure. For me, I worry about slick, slippery things where I could go like busting my ass and
and they
rolling
go.
downhill. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, and when you get up, when you finish the ledge and you come up around the corner and you see Delicate Arch, it's the moment that you've waited for, right? But it's like Delicate Arch you see, but there's like a bowl. Like you kind of walk around and there's a bowl. Like one false step and you're going down in the bowl. I
Mm,
mean, but so it was a hike I didn't feel comfortable doing. I didn't want to, get halfway there and just be I can't go any
right.
further. So
Right.
so I didn't do that. But that is the trail that you should do. So hopefully that video helped you
Is that an in and
understand.
out trail?
Yeah, it's an in and out.
Okay.
And parking for that trail is a booger because there's just not enough parking spots for everybody who wants to go on that trail. So you've got to get there early or get there late in the afternoon in order to try to find parking.
Yeah. Yeah.
So beware. So if you don't want to do that, there are other many wonderful hikes you can take to go see things like the Sand Dune Arch Trail, which I've got some pictures of that. And that can kind of connect into the Broken Arch. So you can see Sand Dune Arch and then Broken Arch. And that's probably like about maybe a mile and a half or so. It's not terribly long. Because again, remember, this park isn't huge. And then we have the Landscape Arch Trail, which is a couple miles as well. And most of these are fairly, there's not a whole lot of elevation. I will say that Delicate Arch has more elevation,
Hmm.
which is maybe 480 feet gain of elevation. So that's a chunk for some people. So just beware of
Yeah.
that. But a lot of the other ones are shorter types of ones to go see the different arches. You can go see a double arch. You can see the Windows Arch. Many different arches to go see. So you have a choice. So if some of your people want to do Delicate Arch, do just like I did. Say, I am not going to go do that. I'm going to go do some other arches. Plenty of opportunity too.
This goes back to, we've touched on this plenty of times before. There's no shame in saying, I know myself well enough to know that I am not going to be able to do this hike. No matter how short it is,
Yeah.
no matter how easy it looks, if you read and you do your research ahead of time and you understand what you're getting into, or what it could be that you're getting into, then you can say, no, I don't think so. This is not going to be for me. While I would love to see it, I already know myself and I know I can't do it. And that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Because there comes a point, and my friend and I were just talking about this yesterday, remembering, like, what's the worst experience that we've had on a trail? Like, we were not having a good time, right? And she reminded me of one that I stopped at some point because I was like, I'm not enjoying this hike anymore. It's become more of not fun,
Yes.
and I'm like, I'm going to turn around because I'm not enjoying this anymore. And y'all can all go ahead, but I'm going to go back. And she stayed with me, and so we just went back, or we stopped and waited for the other people who were going to the end of it. But you have to listen to yourself and listen, because the juice has to be worth the squeeze. And sometimes we don't know until we get to the end of the hike and get to the payoff point, right?
Right.
But sometimes you just know if you're not having fun and enjoying it, and it's becoming more of a
A labor.
drag, yeah,
Yes.
then turn around, stop, and
Yeah.
it's okay. And
Yes.
I'll always remember that hike, because it's the only hike I think that I've been on that I'm like, no, it's two hikes. I've been on two hikes that I know I've started, and I'm like, I can't. I'm not doing the rest of this.
And that's not to say that some of the best hikes you've ever been on aren't going to be laborious,
Yeah.
because there are some hikes that are going to be laborious, and that's part of the adventure. That's part of it. But like you said, if you're not having fun while you're doing it, whether it's easy or laborious, doesn't
Yes.
matter.
Yeah.
The question is, am I enjoying what I'm doing? And that's why you're out there, is to enjoy
Yes.
yourself, to enjoy nature. And there comes a time, I mean, when you hit a certain age, I'm not saying that you can't do this stuff when you're older, because there's a lot of people that do, but at this point you should know your own body and your own psyche well enough to know when to call it quits.
Yeah, because it was funny, because we were talking about, I was reminding this person of a hike that we did do, and I want to say it was somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, that was a lot of elevation gain. And while that's typically hard and people don't want to have to do that, it was like, I didn't mind that. I mean, yeah, it was hard. Back to your point, is that it may be a hard type of trail to do, but it was okay. I was enjoying it. I was still enjoying the scenery and everything else. And it was like, it made it
Yep.
okay. And a lot of that, like, so when we talk about arches and the different trails that they have, the one thing I will say is that they're sandy. They tend to be sandy.
Mm-hmm.
And sandy, fairly not long. So I'm not going to say that they're short, but they're not huge, long ones.
Right.
And they're nice. And the way that this park is set up is that they're really nice little get out, walk around some, look at the wonderful arches, and take lots of pictures, because back to our point earlier, you don't know how long these arches are going to be around.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Yep.
but yeah, as I said, stay in Moab, make your rounds out there. Again, it's basically one road that goes through the park. Lots of places you can then pull off and go to see different arches. But with so many arches, you're never going to see them all. So you want to see some of the highlights, like Balanced Rock. You want to see that kind of thing, right? But beware of the weather. If you go in the summer, it is hot.
It is a desert.
So it is a desert. This
And you
is
know
also.
what? Oh,
Mm.
sorry. I was going to say, you don't have to hike. If
Oh
there's
yeah,
a
you
road
don't even have
going
to hike.
through it, you can pull out and take your pictures. And if that's what makes you happy, more power to you.
Yeah, because I will say, you really can see a lot of the arches from the road. So,
Yeah.
because if you're going to go in the summertime when a lot of people have to just because of school schedules, you just
Right.
need to pack a lot of water because it's hot and you're just on walking on stone and sand and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
hot. So, but the other thing I will say too is that we went there and I don't know if it's designated a night sky, but we went at night because we wanted to see what we could see. And again, it is beautiful to go at night. It's a little disconcerting because it's so dark. And when you first go in the entrance, you kind of have to go up a road and there's like a canyon wall and it's like really dark. But you get to some points that parking areas and stuff that you can park and just stare at the beautiful sky. So definitely worth taking a trip out there at night as well.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. So I think that's about it for Arches National Park. Definitely a park I would go see. If you go to Arches National Park, you should go to Arches and Canyonlands if you have the time, because both of those parks are pretty doggone close to each other. And I would stay in Moab. That's where a lot of people stay. There's a lot of other things you can do in Moab. There's lots of like 4-wheel adventure things that you can go on and stuff, because a lot of that is like, these sandstone places.
Right.
You can do a lot of 4-wheeling out there.
Nice. Well, it sounds like fun.
It really is a lot of fun. I would have to say Arches is worth it and very picturesque.
Cool.
So, all right. I think that's all I have to say about that. So if you like what you're hearing, be sure you subscribe to us, give us a follow, give us a thumbs up, and share with your friends.
Yep.
How come you got a thumb?
Did that come out?
Uh-huh.
I never did. Okay. I don't know. I saw something, right?
And then you can always get merch with 2 Chicks with Hiking Sticks.
That's right.
Get merch. Be sure to get that. We'll put a link down there. And
buy us a coffee.
Be sure you can buy us a coffee.
And if you go to buy us a coffee, you can, if there's some place that you'd like us to talk about, or dare I say it, maybe even visit, donate a little bit of cash. You never know what could happen.
There you go. We might be heading to a town near you.
That's scary.
All right. Yeah, that might be scary. Yes.
Don't run.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us today. And, at the end of the day, remember to hike your own hike. And we'll see y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening. And remember to follow our podcast wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe to 2 Chicks with Hiking Sticks on YouTube, where you also get to see our lovely faces, pictures, and videos of our journey.